Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Hope you're doing better than me. I got a little bit of a cold here, so apologize. Try to get through this here, and future reference, I may not be able to get as much TA done here today as I would like, but we'll go ahead and see if I can save my voice here to get this taken care of here. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, of course. I was peeking over at Adam, seeing kind of what's going on there, because we do have a long open with them, or with that trading pair, of course. And what we're going to do is look at a couple of key factors here with Bitcoin, kind of to see what the big picture looks like. We're going to take a look at the monthly, 7-day, and the last 12 hours for liquidation, kind of double check that here, okay? Quick congrats to our community members here as well for a nice little AVAX short there. 3 days ago, we took that short, got a nice little 32% with a drop there. So definitely looking good. And we average our positions in perfectly with Atom and XRP. So to me personally, I think this is a good situation. But again, a lot of funky stuff is happening. If you take a quick look at the last 24 hours, or 12 hours rather, we saw Coinbase, unusual selling activity, the price dropped, right? Shortly after, $1.2 billion in 9 minutes was purchased to shoot the price of 53,000, and it immediately sold off after that. That is manipulation no matter how you look at it, folks. So again, a lot of unfortunate situations happening right now. This isn't common leading into the Bitcoin halving, so I wouldn't be surprised that we see this consistently moving forward. All the more reason why you want to be careful with your stop losses, and of course make sure that you're using proper risk management, low position size, low leverage. Highly recommend that. All right, so this is the 1 month here. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at liquidation on 1 month. And just note, there is a lot of liquidation left at 41,500. Now, is that level going to be swept because of that? No, I think low 40,000 range is very unlikely at this point. But I would welcome it because it is absolutely an awesome place to consider dollar cost averaging into a spot bag. But again, conversation for another day. Second most amount, of course, is right around that 47,000 mark. And if we zoom in a little closer to the 7 days, we can see here that there's a heavier accumulation at the 50,000 level, and of course, again, that 46K mark right there. Okay, so you can kind of see them if we zoom in a little bit better here. Once again, 50,000, 47,000 are the two round numbers for the price action below us. And of course, there's still some liquidity left at the 53 to 54 mark, but only half of that was swept here today. Okay. Last thing we can look at is the last 12 hours, and just kind of clarify this here as well. This is where you can see manipulation at its finest. Price rakes up here to 53,000, comes back down to destroy any of the late longs here at about 52K, or 51.8 essentially. So again, this is par for the course, folks. I would just get used to this. This is unfortunately the common narrative right now. Big picture though, we do got to recognize Bitcoin dominance is increasing, so some alts are bleeding out a little bit more than they need to right now. Just keep in mind that it is temporary. This doesn't happen, consistently, but for the most part, it makes sense that a lot of alts are taking the plunge here today. Because again, Bitcoin, nobody knows if Bitcoin is going to be able to pass that 52K mark with the price action, trying to break 53K and not having been able to do that. That's a sign of weakness there in a sense, okay? So not a great sign, but also just tons of selling and buying pressure right in this range of 51 to 52, upwards of 53K, okay? All right, so we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things here. Let's upgrade our fibs just a little bit here and kind of see what's going on in the daily time frame and work our way down, okay? So daily time frame, we're still mostly bullish, of course, with the moving averages. I think until we get below the 20-day SMA, we have no reason to be, sorry, the 200-day SMA, we have no reason to be concerned. But once more, the 20-day SMA is the first initial one, right? That's the trendsetter. We had to be kind of careful and cautious back here when we saw the price action wavering above and below that, okay? It just kind of makes, it's helpful because it helps you kind of understand like, hey, okay, we got to be paying a little bit more closer attention right now, okay? When you're over the 20 SMA, you can kind of have this confidence knowing on the daily time frame that the price action should still be in good shape. Now, granted, that's at 47,500. The price could literally sweep all the way down to 47K and close above the 20-day SMA, and we'd still be fine, okay? So please understand that there's a lot of range of motion here. So it doesn't mean you just take a long blindly because we are above the 20-day SMA. It just kind of helps you understand, hey, we're looking decent here at this point. The daily time frame is still fairly bullish. We are starting to break bad here in a sense here, where we can see the MACD is trying to diverge, but hasn't yet. Stochastic swinging down, we've known this for a couple of days. And then, of course, we got traditional RSI and money flow index insanely high. So if the MFI starts to plummet, that might be a cause for concern. But for right now, MFI is right where it needs to be, and traditional RSI is up over 70. That is an overextension, no matter how you look at it, okay? But it's not terrible, right? Again, when the price drops below 70, that's when you might want to have a cause for concern. So that's still being over 70, the likelihood of the price maintaining itself at this point with the MFI being so high is still very high. Okay, So it's still a good chance here that the price action is going to stay where it's at and potentially go higher. We hit a 9 on TD sequential, but we've consolidated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now in the same exact tight little range with an attempt down and up and both unsuccessful. Okay? It's not a great sign. But also not a bad sign either, okay? So again, a little conflicting, but for the most part, we have slightly more bullish qualities on the daily time frame, okay? We've known this for some time. Now take a look here at this. We talked about this yesterday as far as like kind of the double top that we're seeing here for Bitcoin. We could see the price pull back. I think it's a possibility. Am I, leaning more towards that being a strong likelihood? Not necessarily. After all this money came into the coin here and immediately sold off, leads me to believe there is still more manipulation to occur and higher levels to be swept first. Again, that's just me being, I wouldn't say a pessimist, but more so a realist. Because again, you could be considered a pessimist in the crypto market if you just say it's going to go in either direction, right? Because again, the coins have a tendency of just surprising the heck out of everybody, especially Bitcoin. So not surprised by that. Anyways, that's more of an inside joke. Sorry about that. Let me just talk about a couple of other things here. Moving averages in the 4-hour. This is something that's been kind of wavering. Again, a lot of this is weekend behavior, but generally speaking, we're above and below the 20-day SMA, kind of letting us know that this initial trend here could be coming to an end. Okay, so if the price doesn't continue to increase from here, we could very well see it break down below the 50-day SMA and continue to work its way down. Okay, so that's a possibility. Now, is that like the sky's going to fall because we lose this trend line? No, but it does imply we could see this next fib level here at about 49.6, 49.7, round number 50,000. That's the most recent high here. I would say 50K would be a likely next target. We can also acknowledge here as well that we're still seeing this bearish divergence here. In other words, RSI is coming down, and of course the price action is plateauing and essentially establishing higher lows. Okay, so oftentimes when that happens, the price action will drop just because of that. But once more, if the RSIs can hold at 50 on the RSI here, we could very well see the price break through that, and if that does, that's invalidated, and we'll see here soon if that is a possibility. Okay. Stochastic RSI is swinging up, but now it's starting to kind of diverge. Money flow index is fairly low. Oftentimes you will get a pivot off of 30 on the money flow index if you have an RSI at 50. So we saw that here previously where the price action kind of jumped and bounced off that level. We're seeing a very similar scenario here as well. So if you look at what happened here recently, last time the price came down to pivot off this 51K mark, the RSI was at 50 and held. Right now we got the RSI at 50 right now. Is it going to hold? Is it going to be one of those? We'll find out here soon, of course, but generally speaking, this is not necessarily a truly bearish sign. These are some, once again, conflicting signs. We don't like to see it, but it's good to know that there is some positive contributing factors here that could form. Again, either way you look at it, I would summarize the 4-hour time frame is still fairly bearish, having a lot of difficulty crossing this level. But again, folks, we've tried to retest this level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 times now. How much longer is this level going to hold before it breaks, right? I think there's a solid consideration for the price continuing up because of that sentiment. Again, the inverse could be said as well with a double top and the fact the price could continue lower. That is absolutely correct, but in a bullish uptrend like we're seeing right now, I think we're statistically more probable to go up than we are down. I know, it seems crazy. I want the price to go down, trust me, so I can add to my my spot bag. Trust me, it's definitely welcomed. And we got a couple of shorts in play too to head to our longs, so we're fine. But generally speaking, at this point, I think we can expect honestly either direction with another $1.5 billion in liquidation just shooting in either direction. It's totally normal, extremely common right now, and unfortunately, par for the course. So taking a look at Ichimoku Cloud, this is going to be a bunch of false positives here, kind of letting us know that we don't really have a good direction here at this point. The truth is that the hourly time frame does look fairly bearish if you look at some other qualities here, right? We are below most moving averages. The 200-day SMA is kind of hanging out here with this ascending trend. If we do lose this ascending trend line, there's a solid chance we will see the price probably just slowly continue lower. Again, is it going to drop like a rock? Probably not. Just again, there's so much support at this level. It's crazy how much volume we're seeing in this range here. Even with this high amount of volume coming in and the high amount coming out, the price is still hanging out at 51.5. It's like a really, really solid place. So again, to me personally, when I see a lot of things like this, I kind of just hang out on the sidelines and wait for opportunities, right? Because every time we've seen Bitcoin perform like it has just now, altcoins will tend to surge shortly after. While altcoin dominance is low because Bitcoin dominance is high, we're starting to see that sell-off. Bitcoin can continue to stabilize itself here and hold above 51.5 today. I think we're going to be able to see the price action for a lot of alts recover and be just fine. Again, we got to lose a key level here for Bitcoin. I think that's that 51,000 mark in order for us to be able to, invalidate this uptrend, okay? Or just in general, invalidate this current range, because we are in a range, no matter how you look at it, from 51 to 53K is a very loose estimate, okay? So again, losing 51, I think, would be kind of that trend setter where it would probably establish itself as a new high, and the price would continue lower from there. Until we lose 51K, though, me personally, I'm not super convinced that Bitcoin is bearish. While we do have some signs, some larger time frame signs, those don't always tell us that, because again, we got some conflicting information in the 4 hour. So you add it all together, folks, and it's just a hot mess. There's no other way around it. Okay, so if anybody right now says they know exactly what's going to happen next, I would lean more towards the cautious side there, and make sure that you don't just follow them blindly, because right now, I don't like what Bitcoin's doing. I don't think a lot of people do, honestly. It's just a big mess, and unfortunately, it's kind of par for the course the way that things are. So just get used to it, folks. Again, patience in this situation is key. I know that I keep saying you got to be patient the last couple of weeks, but truth is, ever since Bitcoin ETF, there's been a lot more unique behavior. We'll just put it that way. That's a very politically correct way of saying it. Very unique behavior here for this coin, which does affect pretty much everything else. Okay? So again, the truth is, though, big picture, we are looking at still a momentous uptrend, and until we invalidate the bullish behavior here, we shouldn't attach ourselves to a bearish mindset. In fact, I wouldn't attach yourselves to a bullish mindset either. In fact, you want to stay as neutral as possible, but generally speaking, being above all moving averages, most of the macro is looking still pretty good. Until we invalidate that and we move down, there's no reason to believe it will go the other direction, okay? So again, that's kind of where we're at there, folks. I know it's not really what you're looking for, but hopefully it helped clarify a few things, a few questions you have. But I'm going to stay vigilant here and kind of just pay close attention to these shorter trend lines and kind of see. If there's some obvious bearish divergences, we'll make sure to call it out and let you know as soon as we see it. But at this point here, no news is good news, folks. This is actually not terrible. Trust me on this. We actually did kind of break free from this range at 52K. So there's a solid chance we could see another retest at 54,000 mark to sweep that upper level liquidity. Yeah. All right, a lot of different strategies in place. I hope you learned something here today. Thanks again so much for watching. I look forward to seeing the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Greatly appreciate it. See you in the next one. Take care.